The Boston Celtics have officially made the NBA Finals. They just swept the Indiana Pacers, and what a end to the game. Indiana just could not get anything going. Boston won the fourth quarter 25-19. It felt like Indiana just had nothing at the end of the game. And this is the third game of the four-game series that they just choked at the end. Derek White hit a huge three. Jaylen Brown got a huge block. Jason Tatum, I think, game-tying dunk. And Boston's moving on, second finals in 3 years. We kind of knew it would happen. After the last game, no teams come back from down 3-0, and it definitely wasn't going to be Indiana. Well, Boston officially did it. They swept Indiana. And easy path for them to the finals, you know. You play injured Indiana, injured Miami, injured Cleveland, but at the end of the day, you take what you can get. If you get an easy path like that to the finals, you can't really complain. I mean, it's kind of good. Tatum, not a great game. 26 points, was in foul trouble. At least on a scoring aspect, but was being on the boards. 13 rebounds, 3 offensive. Led Boston in offensive rebounds. The only two players that had more were Siakam and Isaiah Jackson in the entire game. Also had 8 assists. I wasn't able to watch the whole game. So to be honest, I'm really not sure how his playmaking was. Maybe it was good, maybe it was bad. Maybe the 8 assists reflect that. I'm not sure. I'm not going to comment on it. But not a terrible game. I mean, it was pretty solid. And when you look at Boston, is this the year? It's kind of weird because everything statistically says this team is elite. They had the best offensive rating, the best defensive rating, the best net rating. Or maybe not the best in all three of them, but at least top 3. At least top 3. I know they had the best net rating. So this team statistically is very good. I mean, when you look at the team stats, they're one of the best teams really of all time. They won 64 games, and this is while not really going all out during the regular season. By like halfway through the year, we knew they would get the first seed. It was pretty much a lock. And they were able to experiment with lineups, able to experiment with end-of-the-game scenarios. And that's something I really want to talk about. At the end of the game, they've won. They've won those 3 games. And yes, Indiana, they haven't done themselves any favors at the end of those close 3 games. But Boston won those games. Jaylen Brown, and I believe it was game 1, hit a huge 3. And yes, it was gifted to them by Indiana mistake on the inbounds. But Jaylen Brown hit a huge 3. Last game, they won in the fourth, 33-21 fourth quarter. Now this game, again, won at the end of the game. They had like a 17-4 run, 18-4 run. It was something large. They had a huge run at the end of the game to take the lead. And I mean, Indiana was up like 8 times in the fourth quarter. And Boston found a way to win that. And that's something we've been talking about all year. Will Boston be good enough in the clutch? We really did not know if they would be good enough in the clutch. They proved they were. And throughout the year, so Boston was 63.6% win rate, 21-12 record. It was very good. Their offense wasn't great. 44.8% field goal percentage. That ranked 13th in the league. That's not good. 35.2% three-point percentage, which is good, but 7th. You have teams like the Mavericks, Thunder, and Nuggets over them. So when it came to the finals, we thought they were going to play the Nuggets in the regular season. I think the Nuggets were the favorite to make the finals. And even if you play the Thunder, even now looking at it, if you play the Mavericks, before the series, are you confident that they're going to be able to win in the clutch? No. Are you now? Yeah, probably. I mean, I think with Dallas, it's probably different because you have Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, 2 of the best tough shot makers in the league. So it's a bit different with Dallas. But you feel confident about the clutch time of offense. You feel like they are going to be able to generate some looks. They are going to be able to make some tough shots. That's something that we didn't think of Boston this season. They're able to do that now. That concern is away. They have the role players to do it. Derek White is probably one of the best role players in the league. I think Aaron Gordon, probably number 1. Derek White's up there, though. Derek White is definitely up there. I'd say top 2 just off the top of my mind. Michael Porter Jr. is up there, but not as good as Derek White. In this game, he shot 7 for 14, only 2 for 9 from 3, but he hit the big one, had 5 steals, 3 blocks, almost a 5-by-5 game. Just looking at the stats, which is insane, that just doesn't happen. I'm not sure if I don't remember the last time there was a 5-by-5 playoff game. If there ever was, which there probably is. 16 points, 5 steals, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 blocks. That's really not too far off. And when you look at the deep bench, you have 2 shot makers that they can step up. They can, if you want a spark plug that maybe they're going to hit some threes, bring Sam Hauser, bring a Peyton Pritchard off the bench. And Kristaps Porzingis will probably be back in the finals. I mean, I'd have to assume he's back in the finals. Also, if you made it this far, subscribe to the channel, please. We're trying to 1,000 before, like, August, September, in that range. So it would mean a lot if you could hit 1,000, or if we could hit 1,000 subscribers and you subscribed, because that's a huge goal of mine. I've been wanting that for years. Across different channels, and we're not too far from it. Less than 250 to go. So thank you very much for all the growth. And yeah, back to the video. But Boston, 4 wins away from the NBA Finals. The most concerning part is Jason Tatum good enough as the first option to win a championship? But I think that's something we've been asking for years. We realized that he's not going to get much better. Now, what would help a lot is if he just drove to the rim more. He's an elite finisher. 3-point shooting, I mean, he's a good shooter. But during the postseason, he shot like 29% from 3. At least before this game, 29.2%. Just drive to the rim more, man. Just drive to the rim more. He would be so much better. But he's probably near his peak, if we're going to be honest. Is he good enough to win it? I'd say so. But it has to be around this team, and it depends on how he plays in the finals. In the Eastern Conference Finals, he was amazing. That was the best playoff series of the season for him. And it looks like Jaylen Brown. I'm watching. I have the celebration on in the background. Jaylen Brown won East Finals MVP, 29.8 points per game, 52%. So if Jaylen Brown can play like that, then the fact that, Dallas is, assuming Dallas does win, which they're up 3-0 probably, is Minnesota still in it? Yeah, because of how close the games are, but Dallas probably going to win. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, if they can play at the level that they did with Jason Tatum throughout the series, 36 points, 23 points, 36 points, 26 points, all on solid efficiency for the playoffs. 11 for 26 isn't great. I'm not going to say it's terrible. It's the playoffs. And Kristaps Porzingis will probably be back. I think I was talking about that earlier. He should be back in the finals, which will help a lot. Have spacing, 5 out. The Mavericks are confident and lively guarding the perimeter, which he's proven that he can do that. He's guarded James Harden before. He's had some possessions on Ant. I believe the turnover in Game 2. But just having that offensive flexibility helps a lot. And of course, you can already go 5 out with Horford. But just more offensive flexibility with rotations. And if you have those two of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown playing at this level, it's going to be hard to beat them. Because Dallas's thing is, Luka and Kyrie Irving, they're going to have 2 of the 3 best players in the series probably. In this series, if Tatum and Brown play like this, Luka's going to be number 1. Where's Kyrie going to be in the hierarchy? Is he going to be 2? Is he going to be 3? Is he going to be 4? Because if he's 4, then you're going to need either a monster series by Luka or Lively or P.J. Washington, Derrick Jones Jr. Either way, the Celtics are looking good. They're going to be the favorites in the finals. I think I'd pick Dallas if they win, which is a tad bit biased. I'm a big Luka fan. I'm not a professional broadcaster. I'm fine with being biased in my picks. If I had to say an unbiased pick, I'd have to think about it more. But yeah, if Boston's role players can just step up, which they've been doing, Tatum play at the level he just did, Jaylen Brown played at the level he just did, it might be Boston's year. They've been here before, they're battle-tested, and they're back in the finals. Swept Indiana, very impressive. Haven't let a series get past 5, and now have 10 days to recover before the finals. So that's why I expect KP to be back. Making a Jason Tatum Celtics timeline era video right now. Should be out in a week or 2. I'm really busy right now, but in a week, I'll be more free. So hopefully out before the finals. Go check that out when it drops.